Good morning, everybody. It's almost 10 o'clock. Day's flying along here on this 12th day of February. Hello, everybody. Hi, Eric. Hello, David, Jean, and Kathy as well. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to SnowTALK on this, again, Thursday. It is Thursday. Yesterday, I thought it was Thursday. Don't you love when you're off a day and then no one really tells you? They acknowledge it and they just look at you weird and then go on. The problem is if you don't stop someone and correct them, you end up with a snowball effect in your own world of being off a day, and it gets to be a mess. And that's how my day was going yesterday. Until finally, at some point in the afternoon, I realized it was not Thursday. That's all right. But I am very confident tomorrow is Friday. I'll tell you that. I'm confident. There is a chance. So that's in our favor. Welcome to SnowTALK. I'm Wave Meteorologist Brian Good. If you're new here, again, you can chat on our social platforms, YouTube, Twitch, as well as X and Facebook. If you don't want to comment, you just want to hang out and enjoy the stream and watch on your favorite platform, you're fine. Just relax, hang back. This will take about, I would say, 15 minutes. We'll get to a core of a lot of the data that's happening for a few systems this weekend and next week. And then we'll get into some long-term stuff that I love to talk about. And this will be March data that I'm going to share with you all. We'll get more tomorrow as well. So you get a double whammy this week because I thought we're going to have 2 Fridays. So it works out well. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday, Donnie. Happy birthday. Everyone say happy birthday, Donnie. Hey, Wyatt. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're hanging in there. Over in Marion or Manton, is that right? Manton, Kentucky, Barbara. Never heard of Manton, Kentucky, to be honest with you, Barbara. Hold on one second, let me change. There we go. Now I can see your font there. All right. Who else we got here? Who else we got? What'd you say, David Jean? Bots means bring on the 70s. Isn't that the truth? Yeah. Well, you know what? We've got some 70s coming our way. Before we get to all that, I'm rambling here, but we got to get to the snowboard as always. And I know, it's been a clean snowboard, right, for the past couple of days. Well, it's back, and it's not overly impressive, but it's something. So I'll add it. All right. And notice rain's involved in both of these, which is never a good sign. Rain to flurries. Oh, snow lovers love that. The backlash flurries. Does the cold air catch up with the system before it leaves or not? Nah, yada, yada. Those are my least favorite types of snow chances. But anyway, it is chance. February 26th through the 27th, very end of the month there. Could be rain or snow. I'll explain why. And I got a feeling as we move along, we're going to be adding much more to this board as time evolves, but we're not quite there just yet. So hang tight. All right, let's cover the short term, and then I promise if you have any questions, I will get to those coming up toward the end. My goal is always to try to explain everything, and hopefully the question you've got in the back of your mind, I've answered it while I'm explaining. So I ask for your patience on that. And you guys can chat amongst yourselves. You're fine. Share recipes, your favorite movies. I don't know. You guys are good at that. So I'll let you all talk and have your moment. The bots people here on SnowTALK. It's a good chat group, though. Clouds have arrived. This is a high deck of clouds. It's important. I'll show you why in a second. No ice on the Ohio. Yep, that's pretty much gone. Still in Indiana, there's some ice, though, flowing East Fork of the White River, and Muscatatuck may have some ice in it. So some of those may rise this weekend with the rain, but we're not seeing them get to action stage or flood stage just yet. We keep watching the forecast gauges. They get up there, but stay just below the level. But if you're in that area in Indiana, just know we are watching that carefully. That does not flow into the Ohio. That flows into the Wabash and heads toward eventually the Mississippi. So that's a different watershed compared to what we have here around Louisville. So the McAlpin upper and lower gauges, they do rise a smidge, but nothing to worry about. Okay, just want to update you on that. 35 in Louisville, 34 is in Jeffersonville, 29 still and freezing there into Seymour. I've been seeing our reports. Still got some snow on the ground. Obviously, here in Louisville, we still have snow mounds on the ground, and we still have yards that have snow on them just because of the sun not able to hit that side of the house. So in many cases, you can tell driving down your neighborhood, the front yards of one side of the road clear, other side still got snow. It's all because of the sun. Even if you're above freezing, yes, it melts, but it's very slow to melt. When the sun hits it, it accelerates. So if you have a shady spot, it's still melting, but it's very, very slow, and that's why that's snowpack. And the fact that we keep going below freezing at night keeps it intact, but that's about to change. So yeah, it will be a memory, especially when you add in rain into the mix. And when you look at the radar, like, oh, look at that. We've got snow showing up on the radar near Jasper. Back into the Wabash. Even shows a little bit of a mix. But before you panic, remember what I said about the satellite or the SkyTri camera that showing the clouds at 12,000 feet and higher. That's very high bases. When you have a high cloud base like that, yes, you may get enough crystals to form. In fact, you do, to allow for flakes to get generated, but it is so dry, you never see them. And I've been checking all the reports across Illinois. We widen the view out here because this is actually a pretty impressive band, all the way north of St. Louis and Iowa, and 0 reports have made it in. Now, I'm not going to say that one or two areas couldn't get a report because clouds don't stay the same level in all areas. There could be a little bit of a wavy action to it. In some areas, there could be maybe a flurry or two. But this was originally our snow chance we were watching for today that was showing up at, I don't know, about a week ago. Maybe Carson knows here in the weather office, but I believe may have been over the weekend. It showed up, but it looked like something, but it wasn't quite all there. So that's why we didn't play it up. And this is the reason why the cloud bases are too high. So it's kind of a shame for snow lovers, because if it were just a little bit lower of a base, a little bit more moisture, it could be another snow globe morning. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But we will get all the clouds from that today. So it will be a overcast setup as the day continues. All right, a storm system for the weekend. It is churning to the west. It's hard to see it today, but once it's in entering California, it shows up very well on radar, right? You get into the mountains, and then because of elevation, the radars can't see the whole storm. So it looks like little patches of whatever, snow, rain, mixed kind of all over the place. But there's actually quite a bit of it that is falling here. My pen's going wild. Quite a bit of it that is falling here into the Rockies. Boy, they're happy. They've got to be happy. Salt Lake City just got snow on the ground. First time since sometime in the fall, I believe. Late fall, they picked up snow. Really tough season for the West, for the ski resorts. So they are thrilled. They have at least something, and they'll get a second system too that will make up for it, because the East Coast has been shining, right? We've done quite well with the ski setup in the East Coast, but the West Coast for 2 years in a row, not doing too well there. And that's not good, because while, snow lovers like, haha, it's our turn, it's in a meteorological sense and ecological and economical as well, huge impact here, because the West Coast, the Rockies, rely on these snows to take place in the winter, because that eventually helps them in battling the wildfire season that comes into play later in summer. And if you don't have enough snow melt that is happening, then your drought levels skyrocket, and the wildfire season then becomes worse than expected. So there is a consequence of this. and it's a significant one. So there is that side of, we love the fun side of snow, obviously, a lot of us do, but this is one of the downsides to mist and snow for sure, is the climate that you have in the West Coast. Those snows in the wintertime are crucial, and not getting enough of it is going to be a problem in that area. So that's the issue you got living out west, though, when it comes to water. Water is not easy to get because of that. Farmers have a tough time as well, not getting more of that downstream that flows down in the spring. But anyway, I'm getting off my soapbox on that one. Just want to mention it. All right, here's our graph model, in-house model. And I'm showing you this because we have a new enhancement to it as of 20 hours ago. That the model now updates every other hour. Hey, congrats to our company for that, for IBM stepping up there. Now that we have every other hour, this is now a very much a competitor for the HER model. So this is gonna be good. Now we got to figure out how good it's going to be as we evolve in time. It's a long range high res model. So we're gonna put it to the test. We'll see how it goes. So it doesn't see the entire setup for the weekend because of range and time, but so I'll show you a different model to give you the whole picture, but at least show you some of it. And let's look at the graph. So as we evolve through the day, getting clouds in the area, we saw that coming in from Illinois, streaming into central areas of Kentucky. Tomorrow, Friday, will look gorgeous outside, and it won't be bad. 50s with sun. That's a very tolerable day for this time of the year. Actually be a pleasant setup for your Friday. So if you have Friday plans, maybe you're doing a Valentine's dinner, you want to deal with all this mess with the rain, and you want to do it on a very pretty evening with a nice sunset, tomorrow's your day and evening to do just that. Because we get into Saturday, clouds roll in. Now, the system is going to take some time to get rain to reach the ground, so you will likely have a dry morning, and really a good chunk of Saturday daytime in general is going to be dry. It will look like it's going to rain for sure by the time we get in the afternoon. It's going to have that look to the sky, and it'll feel a little more damp outside and cooler as a result. So you'll know that rain's coming. And once we get past 3 p.m., if you're west of 65, odds of getting rain will start to go up. Once we get into the evening hours, everyone will see this. Now, this is part of a system that will have thunderstorms too down into Louisiana. That'll be happening at the same time. That's where the majority or heaviest of rain is going to be, on the southern side of the system. We're on the northern side. Again, this will be a sweet spot to be if we're cold. This would be a great winter storm track. Oh my gosh. But I'm not going to be one of those people that says, what if it were snow? How much would it be? I'm not going to do that, because I know you guys are like that. I get like that too. I totally understand. Makes sense. But this is a good setup for snow, I'm not going to lie. But it is going to be a light rain overall. Steady, but light, which is good. We don't want it too heavy to cause any issues, because the ground is soaked with all the snow melt. So let's ease into getting rain in the ground here. We don't want flooding here, because we know that sets the stage for the rest of the season, right? So this looks like a steady light rain. Could get up to a half inch and up to 1 inch in some spots, but anything more than that, I think, is going to be very limited at the moment. Could we get thunder out of this? Possibly, but south and west of Louisville will be the best chance for that. Overall, this is just your typical rainy weather. I mean, it's going to rainy Saturday night. When you get up on Sunday morning, still raining outside, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to stay in bed. I'm just going to sleep in and watch the Olympics. There you go. You're in good shape. So again, that model stops there. So that's all I can see into Sunday morning. Let me show the Euro, which shows the whole system. And you can see how about the same idea. Arrives Saturday night, and we get into early on Sunday morning, still around the area. You see the thunderstorm set up a little better there on the Euro. Yeah, there is a gap between the two areas. This is your deformation banding. This is, again, where you would get normally your big snow, but it is rain that we're talking about. Sometimes you get these little separations because of that, but otherwise, pretty quick system, easy going. Moves in, and then by Sunday afternoon, it may take until about 3, 4 o'clock to get it east of 65, a little later for a southern county. So overall, a good chunk of the weekend will be spent with rain. But if you want to pinpoint times you can get out without dealing with rain, Saturday daytime and Sunday evening. That's it. Anything in between, it's going to be wet. Type 77, if you understand all of that. Make sure everybody's in good shape for the weekend. for Valentine's. Here is the outlook on rainfall, by the way. The lighter green that we're in is less than an inch. You get into the dark green, that's where you cross to 1 inch. Of course, this is not a high-res model to get into the finer details, but I think it's fair to show that. That's a good range, ½ inch to 1 inch. I like that. Wait a minute. There we go. Thank you, Sean. Somebody always does the fun math. I love it. All right, 77, 77, 77. Notice I did not say 7. I said 77. You know what I was about to say. All right, good. Okay, let's move on to what is next for you guys. They're going to love for next week. Next week is actually going to be a really decent week. Temperatures are going to warm up. I've moved this up to 72. I think Wednesday is going to be the warmest of the entire setup that we're going to have with this warm spell that'll be coming our way. I think it's the good combination of the wind. It looks dry. Humidity levels look very low. It will be windy. Good amount of mixing of the air. Classic setup to overachieve on temperature. So I moved this to 72. To be honest, we could go a little higher. I'm not saying 77, but we could get up there. The records are pretty far, too. Most of them are in the upper 70s and 80s, by the way. So a little hard to reach those records, but still a good setup. But it will, again, be likely windy because we'll have a storm system I'll show you in a second. I mean, look at the temperature gradient. I mean, International Falls, 23. Then you get to 57 in Chicago, and then 70s here into Kentucky. So anytime you see that range, you're going to get something that's got to give, and that will be the wind. And there could be some thunderstorms, too, along the baroclinic zone, we call that, where you go from the warm air to the cool air. There could be some thunderstorms in that area. I'll show you that in a second as well. But again, right now, if you had to pick a day you want to be outside and spend some time at a park, I think Wednesday is a good day, right, as it looks now. The wind will be the only annoying thing. And even that won't be terrible, just noticeable. Here's the Euro model. Now, here's what it does on the same time frame here. It, again, right on the baroclinic zone, it's trying to develop this band of rain and thunder. There's a bit of cape. Just northwest of Louisville. Not every model has this, but the Euro has had this every day this week. So that's something to pay attention to. I'm not too concerned about on severe right now because it is at a bit of an odd angle. If there's any element to it, it would probably be more hail than it would be damaging winds, but it's more of a training effect. It's not a straight full-on, south flow into this. It's a very long drive to get that warm air into the Ohio Valley. So because of that angle, it's not a typical angle. You're going to get a lot of problems. So we could get some rain and thunder nearby, but it may hold stationary into St. Louis and, say, Indianapolis and may not move. But given that we're looking at about a week out, yeah, I mean, this could change. Could end up right over us. It could. So we'll watch it. But right now, I don't think it's a huge issue. I'll show you the severe parameter from the AI stuff on this particular setup here in just a second. After that moves by, we then get into a bit of a dip. And this is what's been interesting. The Euro ensembles hinted at this. The GFS certainly has. That after this little spell of warmth that pushes in Wednesday and lingers Thursday, there is a drop that happens because it's attached to a low that is moving across the Great Lakes into the New England, giving them still a full-on winter impact here. But because it moves by, there is a dip that happens into the Ohio Valley. So that shaves off some temperatures for Friday. Friday for a while was looking warm. Now I think it's going to be a cool day because of just the wind change that will happen. But it doesn't last long. You can already see in Texas, already see the fuel being pulled back in. So once that little wave passes by, then as we get into the weekend, well, all right, we'll reverse things back up again. However, this system is moving fast enough that we're likely not going to get a surge of 70s here. I think this cool wave is going to kind of throw that all for a loop. If we didn't have this cool wave, I would think we would probably be well into the 70s with this system here, because this is a good cyclone that moves into the Central Plains. It is the strongest signal of all of them. But I don't think it's got enough time to gather up a lot of fuel for thunderstorms and warmth. It has certainly plenty of cold to work with. So you see a lot of snow. Again, the ski resorts in Northern Plains and Wisconsin. John Bowles going to love this, with more snow there. For us, could we get a line of thunderstorms in good form? Yes, we could. This is a snapshot at 4 o'clock in the morning for Sunday. So, I mean, the timing will likely be nocturnal. So that's where the model stops, by the way. So right now, I'm not too crazy about severe weather for that setup, but given the idea we're going to have some warmth and we've got an obvious front. So we've got all the elements of lift, the front, the forcing part of it all. Moisture will be there to an extent. So that could be added later. And that'll be the second half of next weekend. Right now, the AI models, let me show you this full screen. It's hard to see. Don't really see the whole entire thing, right? But here's your Wednesday little system. Yeah, okay. We'll see what it does there. It doesn't, again, it can't really see. It stops there on Thursday, so you can't see what's after it for that following weekend. It's really far out. So, but as far as the Wednesday little weird band of thunderstorms that forms there along St. Louis and Indianapolis, that's what that outlook looks for. So I can see why it's there. But again, it's a low end risk. All right, let me show you some of the data for the euro for long term. You guys love long term stuff, right? Am I wrong? But a smiley face. I know you love long term stuff. Most of you are here for that because that's what you do. You always ask about what's the weather going to be. What's the deal with the snowstorm on April 7th? I know what y'all think. I know some of you very well personally too, so it makes it even more fun. Okay, so this is an update from the euro that comes out, and I thought I'd share with you. This is the outlook for next week. I mean, hopefully you know where you're at here on the map, but if you don't, we're basically here. And this is looking at what we call an anomaly. So as far as temperatures at the ground level, how off are they compared to where they should be, right? So the orange would indicate, obviously, you're on the plus side, warmer than you would normally be. And as the colors get more into the color range of the reds and oranges there, that indicates a more higher confidence that you're going to be further away from normal. And same goes with the blues on the colder side. So it shows the warmth very well. Those 70s show up very well for next week from the euro, right? Now let's advance this. Let's get into early March. Early March, it's still there, but the signal begins to dwindle to where it indicates temperatures a little closer to normal, which at this point, by the way, our averages are going up several degrees every day now from here on out. I mean, it's just why we consider March 1st, meteorologists do anyway, we consider that the first day of spring because our averages cross over to a very much more rapid increase at that point. I believe it gets into the 50s and maybe even around 60, but probably mid upper 50s. I always try to remember those and I always forget. But anyway, it's going by those numbers. How far off, plus or minus, from those numbers? All right, so let's just say 55 to be fair. So it could be upper 50s to 60. Okay, that's still not bad. It could still get some warmth there in early March. Then we get into late March. And it's erased. And now you're like, wait a minute, what's the white mean? You're like, oh, it means snow. No, it doesn't. It means that it's likely going to be right at the normal level, or for what will likely happen, it will be below it. Because what we're noticing is that the polar vortex is right now at home. It's spending some time with the family up at the North Pole. It's in the wind chills, colder than 50 below zero right now. Any cold we get coming into play down the road will be really stale Canadian air, as I like to call it, so not true Arctic air. But this is a piece, the southern part here of the polar vortex, as we get into late March. Now, the question will be whether or not the storm systems that keep wanting to move across the lower 48, will they be able to move along and grab a hold of it? Will one of them grab it and then pull it straight down, and then we end up spilling the cold Arctic air right back into the eastern United States, especially for late March? Well, the signal shows that's at least possible, but you got to keep in mind, and I got to really stress this, an Arctic attack here from the polar vortex in late March is not the same as it was in January. Much different. In this case, instead of talking about below zero wind chills, we're talking about maybe wind chills in the teens. That's still a little brutal, right? But it's not as brutal as what we could be. But more importantly, it would indicate that the potential to bring snow back into the storyline a little more often, yes, that can happen for late March. In fact, looking at the latest matrix, which you guys love, look full screen, quiet for a while. I mean, woo, hello, it's like nobody's talking about it. And then all of a sudden we get into that weekend. Next weekend I showed you, we get a few items showing up on the list. And this is where we get into some of that being flurries on the backside of that one system. And then also there's another wave that could be rain or snow. And that's where it enters on the snowboard for that very reason there. But it's not filled in much at all. And it's pretty far out. We're going to get a new long-term version of that tomorrow. So looking forward to that. All right, let me show you the 10-day. It stands now. All right, cool today because the clouds a bit chilly out. Double nickel tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow really will be a nice late, somewhat late winter day. Looks good. And then we get into the weekend. We talked about the rain, right? And then there we go with the warm spell into Wednesday. Nice setup there for Wednesday. And then we'll just watch some showers and storms possible there Thursday. And then we dip down briefly Friday before we go back up again ahead of the stronger wave, which will be that following weekend. Voila, there you go. Any questions? Yeah, but your matrix, well, it's not my matrix. I don't own it. Showed 2 weeks ago all snow for late February into March. Well, that's one of the downsides to, especially when you track any type of Arctic air, is that it can see a signal, but most of the time it keeps kicking the ball down the field. It happens a lot. So yes, while this one is showing into February there and March still, we'll see if it holds on to that signal, or will it keep kicking the ball down even further into March? Based on what I just saw there, for the outlook into March, it would make more sense that it's going to be later. But got to keep in mind, any type of snow, and I've said this many times, actually, you guys are going to repeat it for me. I'm going to see who's been paying attention. Part of your test today. What do I always say about trying to sniff out a winter storm or snow in general this time of the year? Someone's going to know what I mean by that. There's a saying I always refer to, especially from here on out. Chris, does the Euro AI have any good support for significant winter snow? I didn't really see anything. It's closer to us, Chris, into parts of the Ohio Valley, but nothing that really raised my eyebrows on it. Heather got it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Carrie, I'm going to put that on the screen, but I don't think that's what I, what? Carrie's funny. But Heather's right, yes. Well, actually, Sarah, you're right. Heather's right. You can only find it 2 to 3 days out, and then the sun angle will fight against you as well. Margaret's got it as well. All right, good. You guys are paying attention. I like that. Thank you all. Makes me realize I'm not just rambling here all the time. So, yes, that will that indeed matters. You know, when you get the sun angle involved, it can be a thorn in our side. You want when you get into late February and certainly into March, if you got a snow chance, you want it at night. You want the snow to move in at night. If it's a daytime snow, it's tough. It's tough. And you're going to hear me say that if we have a chance of a daytime snow, that's going to be one of the factors we'll have. I'm like, we're not too thrilled about this. Although it could be a pretty snow, don't get me wrong. I'm talking in terms of impact on roads. That usually is as a big player. But this is not a setup where you're going to get locked in for 2 weeks with icy roads and buses can't move or anything like that. We're not into that kind of a pattern here. At least I hope not. We don't want no day after tomorrow stuff here. All right, guys, I will leave it at that. I think you guys get the pattern. And again, tomorrow we're going to go through a little bit more of some newer stuff. We'll get a new matrix. So Aaron will be happy. We'll look at it. And we'll see how things look all the way into April. Hey, we get an April outlook tomorrow on any snow potential. That'd be interesting to look at. And we'll have the latest, of course, with the weekend rain and rain totals. All right, you guys take care of yourselves. Enjoy the cloudy day today. Enjoy the Olympics. Again, we're on TV today through the midday show. Then starting at 12, we switch to streaming for our newscast for the rest of the afternoon until 5 o'clock. So we're still doing our newscasts as normal. But if you don't see us on, the reason for that is that we're streaming on the news app. So make sure to tune in for that. All right, guys, I will see you guys come up on the flip side.